Hi, I'm Ariel. You're watching She Wants the Diction, and today I'm here to talk about the books that I've been reading lately. So the first one I'm going to start off with is something a little different for me. It's a cookbook, and I saw this book on Capri's Book Island, so I'll link to her channel below. But it's called Black Girl Baking. It's more than just like a recipe book. Like, she actually explains the significance of the recipe, like, to her. And there's a lot more writing in here than in most cookbooks that I've seen. But the reason I wanted to get it is because as far as cooking, I don't really like cooking, but baking is like the one thing that I feel like I can do it and like I'm good at it, and I kind of enjoy it like once in a while, like to have a baking project. So when I went to look for this, turned out my library did not have it, so I had to request for them to buy it, which they did. The library is fucking awesome, and if you're not taking advantage of that, I really don't know what you're doing with your life. So yeah, I've only baked one recipe out of here, but everything pretty much looks like to die for. What I baked was the cocoa ginger snap cookies. I think they turned out all right. They had kind of like a hardness around the edges that I don't think they were really supposed to have. And a lot of the recipes in here, I didn't even realize that they were vegan until I actually got the book. So I had to like learn what a flax egg is, which is basically like an egg substitute where you mix flax meal or flax seed and water and then put it in the refrigerator, let it sit, and then you can use that as a substitute for egg in your like baking recipe, so you're not actually eating egg. I'm not vegan, but I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool, and it still turned out decent. So the other thing that I read was Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, and this has been a pretty hyped one. I knew as soon as I saw the cover on this one, which is gorgeous, that I wanted to read it. And it was really a mixed bag for me. I've seen a lot of negative reviews, but I think the things that she nailed in this were the mental health representation, and then the way that Black women's bodies are hypersexualized and over-sexualized and also fetishized. I think a lot of people had problems like with Queenie's choices that she made because, you know, she has a lot of unprotected sex. She wants to get back together with her ex, who is not openly racist, but he's pretty complacent with his family members that are racist. She doesn't really have the support network that she needs. Like, one of her friends is really toxic towards her. Her family is kind of conservative and has a different belief system or value system than she does. And then, you know, she's being harassed even at her work. Her workplace doesn't want to hear about Black Lives Matter or the black issues or the issues that matter to her. So I feel like she did a good job of portraying how Queenie has no support system, so that's kind of why she's chasing like subpar sex with these random dudes. Interracial dating, like, I wish she had addressed that a little bit better, because obviously her ex is, you know, racist, and then she's also like dating a lot of guys who are fetishizing her. And one of her friends even tells her, you need to date black guys. Well, I don't think the solution is clear cut like that. Like, I think the solution needs to be, you need to date people who aren't racist. Like, whatever race they are, they just need to not be racist. So I think she should have wrapped that up a little better. I think that she should not have reconciled with her toxic friend. And I think that she should have quit her job, because when she reported the sexual harassment that was going on from one of the guys that worked there, her manager did not take her seriously. So there were a lot of things I liked about the book, but there were also things that I really, really disagreed with. So yeah, this one's kind of up in the air for me. The other thing that I've been reading is Wise Child by Monica Furlong. And this is kind of a middle grade children's fantasy book about a girl who is orphaned and is adopted by the town witch, which we really learn that she's more of like an herbalist and kind of the doctor of the times, more so than a witch. But essentially, like, this reads like a bunch of parables. Like, she learns a lot of valuable lessons while she's staying with Juniper. She basically has to choose between her mom, who is an evil witch, and Juniper, who is a good witch. So it's kind of that concept of family is not always good, and sometimes, you know, you have to have like a found family, essentially. So I really like that about it. And the other thing I liked was the fact they talk about religion on its own does not make you a moral person. Like, I feel like a lot of people equate being religious with being moral, and that's not the case. You can definitely be religious and be moral, or not be religious and still be moral. Like, I feel like that's the thing people accuse atheists of a lot, is like you don't believe in God, how could you possibly have morals? Like, the two are not incompatible. I liked a lot of the ideas in here. The writing is pretty, like, packed. There's a lot of, like, detail packed into it. And I think there's a lot of important lessons that kids could learn from this. And it's not just, like, stupid, preachy stuff. Like, I feel like it fits naturally to the story. Like, it doesn't feel like she was just writing a story to kind of force her ideals onto whoever's reading. So yeah, I liked this one a lot. Well, I'm not done with this yet, but the other thing I was reading was kind of a nonfiction one, and this is just a kind of a National Geographic photo essay from like the 70s called Nature's Healing Arts, From Folk Medicine to Modern Drugs. Right after it, I started Wise Child, so like the whole herbs and making medicine from herbs was kind of incorporated in there, so I was like, that's kind of a weird coincidence. And this book is basically just what it sounds like. It talks about the origins of medicines, which is basically plants, and how it kind of transitioned from people taking care of themselves with the plants and the plant healing and healers and stuff like that into modern day research of, you know, cures for diseases and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. I learned a lot of things that I didn't really know, such as, you know, aspirin comes from willow trees. The coca leaf, which is where cocaine comes from, they're actually people that chew it and it's not addictive, unlike cocaine. So that was pretty interesting. Like, I learned a lot of tidbits from this, and I'm still not done with it. And obviously not all of it is going to be 100% accurate still, but the photographs in here are pretty nice as well, like the photo essay. I mean, it's National Geographic, so of course. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been reading over the past couple of weeks. This is like my third attempt at trying to record a video for this week because the two other reviews that I did weren't really up to my standards. Like, I didn't like how they came out. So leave a comment and let me know what you guys have been reading, or if you've read any of these and how you feel about it, especially Queenie. Thank you for watching. Bye.